Hello and welcome to the ESR GT2 series from the Sachsenring for two 30-minute races around this ridiculously challenging track, frankly.
Do they listen to Saxon the entire time they're racing?
I mean, it's an option. You are riding with Joe Racer as he completes what will be his final qualifying lap as he looks to better his 17th position and did not manage to. Now we have Cristiano Pinheiro in the black BMW there. And the grid comes up with Cadillac's Mike Stoppmill starting on pole from the fake Ferrari of Sean Kenny, Richard DeRoche in the Corvette, the Cadillac of Travis Wallace, Visar Jacoli and Eric Friesen in their BMWs make up around row 3. And then there's a bunch of other BMWs as well in there, valuing up the top 10. With me on commentary is Byron Derksen.
Wrong.
What is your name now?
That is yet to be revealed.
Are we back to being Mohammed Shabazz Martin?
You got some of that right. No.
And making his debut on commentary, although we did actually do this entire commentary and I screwed up and didn't record the audio, Grant Patullo. Welcome to the booth.
Hey, g'day. How are ya? Take two.
Take two. Take two it is. This is the GT2 series that's been going on, kind of rotating sprint and endurance formats, with the endurance formats being worth more points. Major championship contenders missing today include Darcy Parkinson and Vinnie Roberts. But there are some of the top guys still here in the forms of Richard DeRoche, as well as Sean Kenny, Martin Edmonds, and the guys fighting over the Division 3 and Division 2 crowns are also present. So, a lot to play for at the moment. They're just awaiting everyone to join the grid forcibly if the time goes down to 0. No, everyone joined up. John Barker and John Peaches starting on the back row. They did not qualify, but are in the grid. And we wait for the go, and there it is. We are off, and it is very confusing at the start. Sean Kenny appears to have gotten out to the yellow and black Ferrari. That is the Puma color car. John Picha falling off the back end a little bit, but Mike Stoppmill coming through to take the lead. We talked about this a lot. The hard tires versus the soft tires here is a pretty important question because the softs only have about half race length left in them before they become not useless, but they definitely have a drop-off point. You don't get that full second advantage that they theoretically have. And then you've got the remainder of the race when you're getting slower and slower, while the hard tires are largely able to keep up at their full pace until around the very end. And I know I asked you this before, but Grant, what tires would you personally as a driver want to go with?
Yeah, well, it comes down to the car. Like I said earlier, the Cadillac was pretty hard on the tyres, so you definitely want hards on that model, but BMW looks like it behaves well with the softs, so yeah, if I was in the BM, I'd certainly go with the softs.
Yeah, I think the Beamer's pretty much in the middle. I'd say the Corvettes and the Cadillacs, probably you got to go hards to really make it work. And then with the P45, the RUF, and the Beamer, you have a choice. I think that the Porsche and the Ferrari knockoffs could both make it pretty easily. Richard DeRoche's showing the nose there to Sean Kenny, couldn't make it around him though on this particular occasion. Still leading Travis Wallace's Cadillac, and Jürgen Walby. Jürgen Walby in the BMW making up some ground. He is up into 6th position. Byron.
What do you want?
We have been waiting for a long time to hear the nickname.
I already told you it was.
Nichols. I know you did, but the people don't know. They're not going to get it to you.
Nope. I don't do 2 performances in one day. Lachlan has been nicknamed for a while, but I have not revealed it because I am very mysterious. Also, he, apparently got deported to Indonesia or something. I have no idea. But he hasn't been racing. Something about having his digital license revoked for being digitally drunk. But he shall henceforth be known as Dave.
Okay.
No, that's probably not it. It's actually Block Rockin' Lachlan Nichols or Landlocked Lachlan Nichols. And if you could say that 5 times fast, your wife will probably be very happy with you.
And the advantages of not of doing this a second time, I just saw what happened to Richard there in the early race. He wound up going way out into the sand trap there in his Corvette. And
Yeah,
that's
it cost
why
him
he
dearly.
dropped way back. Yeah,
Just wanted to play at the beach, man. Get off his back.
very problematic. These sand traps are remarkably sticky. Also, actually, relatively difficult to get out of them. Although not as difficult as the ACC ones at Zolder. My God, the car just sinks into those.
Travis is a hard racer. He's what was his start position?
A P4.
Oh, yeah, okay.
He's dropped back a little bit at the start, which is to be expected. The hards obviously aren't going to launch the car necessarily as well as the softs. So we know that a lot of the guys at the front of the pack are rocking the soft tires under the gamble that they can make them last.
I still think my idea of laminating hard and soft layers is the best.
We've been through that. You know, they don't give you that option.
Listen, just because they're not smart enough to be able to do it. Thought you guys were race nerds.
Byron is just going to give us the real inside scoop, the real technical advice here. That's what
Exactly. Think outside the boxcar racer.
pretty much. I mean, I would definitely have to say your thinking is never in the box. That's for 100%
Correct.
for sure. A couple of soft-tired cars here in the form of Visar Jacoli, Sean Kenny, and Jorgen Walby are caught up behind the hard tires of the Cadillac of Mike Stoppmill, who leads the way and started the race on pole position, of course, but qualified on softs. I believe the only car that was running hards during the qualifying session was John Peach, which did not really work out well for him at all. This track, stunningly difficult. You can see it here in this complex. Here is Visar Jacoli moving into the lead, and he's going to hold it for now. And you can see what I mean when these sweeping complexes of corners means that if you make a mistake in one, you are boned for the next like 2 to 3 turns, and it amplifies any mistake you make. Well, 2 to 3, 4.
Correct.
Sean Kenny, of course, a man looking to make up some ground in the championship. A couple of his main rivals not here. And putting the pressure on Visar Jacoli and Mike Stoppmill. Of course, Mike Stoppmill should have been the winner at Road America. Was not. Handed that win to Jorgen Walby on a platter when he ran out of gas. Tried to make a pit stop for gas. Picked up a speeding in the pit lane penalty. And his pit crew messed up and didn't give him the gas. So it was definitely a case of a day that was looking really, really good. Really good dream. Nice, nice hot chick from your childhood or whatever. And it went downhill really fast.
Is it because he is drunk as hell?
I mean, it's possible, but I don't believe that's the case. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if Travis Wallace was in it. It's Sean Kenny losing the track there, and he'll drop back to 4th place. Speaking of Travis Wallace, he's coming up behind Sean. We'll see if this Cadillac can carry him past the much more happy in the turns Ferrari than the Cadillac. Cadillac, of course, very, very fast in a straight line. Very, very fast in general. But one that definitely has a very limited window of turning, I guess is the best way of putting it. It's not necessarily bad in a turn, but you've got to hit it just right in that window. Otherwise, it will slide around like you wouldn't believe. And on this track, that's a particular problem because we've been through this. The tires are getting eaten at a very alarming rate here. Definitely was a consensus that protecting your rubber was going to be key on this particular racetrack.
Well, might I recommend just having somebody run alongside the car and change out tires as needed?
I don't think even Usain Bolt can do that.
Well, not with that attitude.
Lachlan Nichols running in the top 10 there. He has not been at a race since the opener at Suzuka. And would definitely like to make up some ground. Travis Wallace losing control of the car a little bit there. And regains it, keeps it out of the wall, but that was a little closer than I'm sure Team Cadillac would like. But they are definitely probably liking the performance from Mike Stockmill so far. Yes, he's lost the lead, but he's got the hard tires, which are going to last longer than Visar Jacoli's soft tires in front of him, and will probably open up some options later on. I think probably a man regretting his tire choices before the end of this race, though, is the soft tires there on Lachlan Nichols' Cadillac. We were talking about how the Cadillac was not really one to go with the softs on, high tire weight and everything. Heavy car, big engine, slides around a lot. Not what you want to probably run soft rubber on in a race that is known to be a bit of a marathon as far as the tires are concerned.
Well, I mean, obviously the solution is to put on 8 tires, and then if 4 of them lose grip, it's not a big deal.
I would go with the Quintirol idea. Mike Stockmill got back in front, but it appears to be short-lived. He went wide there in the turn, and Visar Jacoli, the Albanian nightmare, retakes the lead.
Yeah, taking some liberties with the corners there. There's Visar, but get away with it. Why not?
Hey, you don't get the drive-through, then there's no real problem on the matter. Also, the corner limits on this track were fairly generous, I must say. Raceroom does have, unfortunately, a bit of an annoying habit of not being terribly consistent with what it considers to be a legal line.
I think if you just stay between the lines, you're probably pretty fine.
Generally, yes, but sometimes it'll let you get that tire out on the curves. Sometimes it really won't.
Keep your crayons between the lines, kids.
Jorgen Walby is the man probably benefiting from this fight the most. He's really caught up on the back end. And Richard DeRoche has seen off the challenge from Lachlan Nichols for now, and has set his sights on Lucas Molesky, his fellow Corvette driver there. So it's definitely getting a couple of different battles here. We've got the battle up front between Jacoli, Stockmill, and Walby. Kenny kind of running on his own. Mike Stockmill just took the lead back. Visar made a mistake and slipped back to third. And is slipping back to Sean Kenny. So it looks like a two-man fight for the lead, and then a two-man fight for third. And then there's a pretty decent little group there of Travis Wallace, Martin Edmonds, John Spriggs, Lucas Molesky, Richard DeRoche, and Lachlan Nichols kind of fighting from 5th down to 10th.
Fire the 4-ton torpedoes. Actually, I've been dicking around in Wildlands, Ghost Recon, the past couple of days. I found out an excellent way to hijack caravans worth of supplies. Don't know why I didn't figure it out before, but you can get different drone types. So I'd use the EMP drone and just fucking fried their engines, and then just like, hey, it's mine now.
I'm actually wondering, did Richard DeRoche go into the pit lane there? That's why he dropped back so much. Possibly for a drive-through penalty of some sort? Maybe? Or he loses enough ground for it to be a full-on pit stop. Because he looks like he's out of the pits now, but maybe a drive-through.
It's 2 minute in the ice penalty, 5 minutes in the box.
It's only 2 minutes in the box for 2 minutes.
It's 5 minutes now.
I thought he'd be further back if he went through the pits.
I would think that, but he lost a number of positions, and I don't know what else it could have been. The camera kind of went to the pit lane.
Early on he went in the gravel, so that put him back to about 11th.
Well, he had gotten back up into 9th, though.
Yeah, okay. Made another mistake.
If you're watching this, Grande Ricardo, leave the comments there. Did you pick up a drive-through penalty, or did you just kind of make a mistake near the pit lane entrance? Kind of played tricks with us in the matter.
That last turn in this track, if you get it too taily, you can end up spearing up pit lane. Not meaning to, but that's where you end up.
He's just picking up hitchhikers.
That definitely is for sure the case. I did that in practice. It's like, oh, I guess I'm going in the pit lane. In the meantime, battles continue on. DeRoche has rejoined in 13th place from whatever the problem was. He is catching up to Andy Blade, 12th place. Looking to put the pressure on there. And has a pretty decent cushion back to Jesse Hampton. The guy who probably has had the worst start to the race, though, is Eric Friesen. He started on the 3rd row and is currently running in 15th position. So problems for the paint-attacked BMW, as Byron refers to it.
Super Paint OP, please nerf.
Indeed. And a pretty solid run from Division 3 driver Cristiano Pinheiro. He's up into 10th position there in the BMW. Mike Stoffmill having a little bit of lag there as Jorgen Walby continues to put the pressure on him. They have left Vissar Jacoli for dead. I would have to guess that Vissar perhaps has lost the best of the tires. We know he was on the softs. We know that the softs have a limited lifespan, and I think he may have cooked his. We'll see if Sean Kenny in the P45 can get around him. Now, the P45, not a great overtaking car. It's a car that's very limited in a straight line, in the sense that it's, one, not very fast to begin with, but two, it's also very aerodynamically dependent. So it's not a great car for overtaking compared to some of the other ones in the field. I suppose that would be a question for you, Grant. Would something like that be a concern for you when picking the car?
Yeah, absolutely. You need that speed in the straights to make the move. The car just doesn't have the speed there, then it just makes life too tough.
And I know the P45s are also, not that it's overly a factor on this particular track, because it's a relatively high downforce track, but I remember at Monza specifically, the P45s were having a lot of problems because they can't bring their wing below 10 degrees, whereas the other cars can, just because of how the body work is.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you can be slow through the turns and hold people up, but if you slow down the straights, there's not much you can do to defend.
Indeed. It's, I think, probably why the P45, not particularly a popular car. Only 2 of them in the field today, those in possession of Sean Kenny and Andy Blade. Running pretty respectively in 4th and 12th place, though, so doing a good job. I think this track is not one that highlights its particular shortcomings as a car, but it definitely was an issue at Monza, and I think it might also was an issue during the testing at Paul Ricard that we did recently. When pondering about what layout to use, the 1A layout that we had originally announced will not be sustainable for BOP balance, because the P45 and also the RUF, the knockoff Porsche, both badly struggled in a straight line there. Of course, the 1A layout of Paul Ricard is the one with that massive straightaway towards the end of Sector 2.
Right. Yeah, well, Sean usually goes well, no matter what he drives.
Quality driver.
I think we should design a track that is all corners, no straightaways, and is designed to give people motion sickness. And if you finish the race, you automatically get all the points.
So a piece of spaghetti.
Pretty much.
This reminds me of the top I was watching the other day. Pursuit of Driving Heaven, which James May was very disappointed in what he picked. And the pressure is on here as Walby is pulled up really close to Mike Stockmill. Gotta wonder how much life in those tires there are as they lap James Butler. We've lost John Picha at some point to retirement. He's 7 laps down now. Well, actually 8 laps down, because he's 7 laps down to Butler, who has been lapped. So there you go. Yeah, the hard tires that are on Stoffmill's car will be the ones stronger at the end of the race. So Walby has done a good job of protecting his tires up until this point. I think he's probably made them last longer than most of the soft tire runners have. Incredibly smooth driver. We'll have to see if
Someone round.
he can get around there. Oh yeah, someone is definitely around.
That guy's dead.
That was the car of, I'm not sure who. I think it was James Butler actually that went around. He's the one dropping like a stone. So James Butler losing control of the BMW and smashing it up pretty hard. Sean Kenny on the tail of Visar Jacoby, looking for a way around Andy Blade under pressure from a man that my bumper knows a little too well, Lachlan Nichols. Those at home not aware of the Lachlan Nichols history, he hit me while we were going into the pit lane in his ESR debut.
I told him to do it.
Wouldn't surprise me. GT3s at Motegi. We both went into the pit lane on the same lap, and wow, I got smashed into the wall. Not great. Damaged the car for the rest of the race. Speaking of interesting notes, there was a car in the pit lane there. It was Dennis Meissner who hit the pit lane. Looks like he is getting some damage repaired because he was not moving to suggest that he'd taken a penalty. And he should not be fueling up. James Butler there is badly crabbing up in that car now. So he is in a bit of trouble there. Lachlan Nichols under pressure from Cristiano Pinheiro, who's having a fantastic race. Division 3 guy dicing with the top two divisions, currently running in third place. We ride on board with, or not third place, 11th place. Richard DeRoche putting the pressure on Travis Wallace, who's slipping back. I would suspect the soft tires, they know Travis is running hard tires, and probably made a mistake at some point would be my best guess. But he's lost out to Martin Edmonds and John Spriggs.
Agreed.
Jorgen Walby still putting the pressure on. He's dropped it down to less than a half second once again in a few spots. And those soft tires, he's making the softs look like a great choice right now. I don't know if any other driver is, but he's doing a phenomenal job of keeping the grip in those in the rubber that he's got on right there. And he'll lose a little bit of ground here down to the last little bit as the Cadillac is quite quick in Sector 3, except under braking, where he is closing the gap now, but they're going to hit the straightaway, and that should be the Cadillac's chance to pull away a little bit with its superior grunt.
I thought brakes were illegal in this.
Brakes are not illegal, sir.
All gas, all the time, and just nail it to the floor, and you have to steer.
Looks like James Butler coming out of the pit lane there. Maybe? Oh, that is. Butler would have fallen down a second lap. I guess he's a lap down to Meissner. Yeah, that probably is James Butler coming out of the pit lane. The battle for the lead continues here, and further back, it looks like somebody has gone off, and it looks like it's Cristiano Pinheiro in the black BMW who put it in the wall there. Byron's favorite place to be.
Well, I mean, not my particular favorite place to be, but I enjoy watching other people take part.
There you go.
You must have been hit by a capybara.
And can Walby get around Stop Hill here? He's losing ground again. I think it's every time he goes on the attack, he can't quite get the job done and has to kind of reset and go for another charge at him. Jacoby is still holding off Sean Kenny, Martin Edmonds in 5th, John Spriggs, Travis Wallace, Richard Roche, Andy Blade, and Lachlan Nichols are your top 10. Lucas Milewski's been kind of falling back pretty consistently throughout this race, not able to hold up his end of the bargain. Had a really good qualifying effort. It's not really turning into a result here or a particularly great pace.
Yeah, what you said is true about having to reset, because whenever you attack, you just overheat the tyres, and that's it. You're done for another lap or so until they cool down, then they come back again. But when they go off, they're off, and not much you can do.
Eric Friesen challenging the top portion of the race, the very distinctive blue car of Jesse Hampton. Looking to make his way through. Eric Friesen's had a pretty rough day. Qualified, I believe, P6, down in 12th right now. Would you say he's probably the driver who's had the worst day here, or is there someone else that has caught your eye, Grant?
Oh, I don't think he's had the worst day, but it hasn't been great for him, that's for sure. I think he's finishing further up than that.
I think he probably would, especially with an opportunity to gain some ground on some missing championship contenders. Andy Blade putting the pressure on Richard DeRoche, Ferrari versus Corvette. Classic supercar matchup.
So is that Agfa livery? Is that current?
The which livery? The one Andy's
Andy's
rocking?
car. Yeah.
I honestly don't know. I don't know of a racing series the P45s are actually in. Is kind of the problem. But I imagine that there's probably a Ferrari rocking that livery somewhere in one of the GT series is. These liveries I don't think are very up to date though. For those who are unaware, the GT2 classification is somewhat of a dinosaur, somewhat of a relic of the past, and a lot of the cars we're watching here today are like, you know, a couple of years old. James Butler off the track again. Looks like he is done for the day. Lachlan Nichols winning a little bit of a fight there with Lucas Boleski over 10th place for now. Battle of the Corvette and Cadillac brands. Also a battle for, I believe, second place in Division 2. Andy Blade is the top running Division 2 guy, I do believe. Mike McCracken letting the leaders through there, and the battle continues between Walby and Stopmill. Pressure is on. Walby's tires, I mean, really making me regret picking the hard tires is Jorgen Walby, but I probably couldn't do the same thing as him. And that's what makes him such a good driver.
He's doing a great job of managing the tyres. Very smooth.
Andy Blade picking a spot there up on Richard DeRoche to 8th position.
That's key to going quick, is having smooth inputs.
Not a strength of mine. I'm a bit of a heavy.
Yeah, if you're jerky on the steering wheel or your pedal inputs, you're just not going to be quick.
Well, that's why you just don't hit the brakes. You just gas all the way. It's all speed and smooth.
That's a great idea to end up at the wall.
Listen, just because clearly my technique is futuristic and somewhat risky.
It's a shame you weren't watching the ACC one we did last night there, Byron. There was a huge pileup, and I came racing through it and hit somebody and flipped the car. I spattered the Russian flag Ferrari all over the place. Walby is putting the pressure on. He's still got about 5 minutes to go. Can he get the job done?
No.
I mean, I'm always a man who bets on Mike Stopmill. He's been next to unstoppable since showing up in ESR a little while ago. I mean, he stopped himself at Road America, of course. Hasn't actually taken that victory, but debuted in the Zero Series at Hockenheim. Finished in that race in 5th position. Thought he had a little bit more to him, but the BMW was not cooperating with him on that occasion. Steps into the Cadillac here for a second round, and led most of the way at Road America, has led most of the way here, and is putting up a very impressive resume for himself here in the early days. It's hard to believe that he was at one point considered for the Academy.
Well, I wouldn't let him in because I'm racist.
Speaking of Academy, we ride with one of the Academy racers and the highest ranking Academy racer in the race right now, Cristiano Pinheiro, in 12th place. He's, I feel like he probably just recently got passed by Eric Friesen, more so than he's putting the pressure on him, but I could be mistaken. And he is actually closing the gap a little bit, so Cristiano's got something going for him. I wonder if Eric is suffering from damage. We know he's had a couple of mishaps in the race, so it wouldn't be terribly far-fetched to suggest that he has picked up some imperfections in the car. Richard DeRoche trying to get back at the Ferrari of Andy Blade.
Harpoon him!
Andy Blade, shout out to Andy Blade's children, Serrated and Rusty. I'm sure they're watching.
It is possible.
And it is Richard is getting very close. Grande Ricardo would like that spot. Now, he is currently in 8th place, which is pole for race 2, so there's a certain tactical argument to be made that he doesn't want to make the overtake right now, especially on a guy who is not in his division. But I know what Grant will say. Racer's instinct says to go for it.
You see something in front of you, you just want to chase it down.
Yep. And Cristiano Pinheiro is definitely trying to chase something down. He's all over the back end of Eric Friesen there. And Roche trying to get around as well. Meanwhile, quick update at the front. Stop Mill has kind of stabilized the gap at about 0.7 of a second. Actually, he's growing a little bit there as well, and then shrinking, of course, a little bit as well as they like the way from the turns. Side by side here, Pinheiro versus Friesen. Can Friesen hang on? I think the answer is probably no. Pinheiro's got it for now. Still got it. He is off on the grass. Cristiano Pinheiro, a spirited effort, but unable to get the job done. And I was saying that the gap had stabilized, but what you were seeing right now proves a bit of a liar out of me on the matter. Eric Friesen is, or not Eric Friesen, Jorgen Walby is up on the back of Mike Stopmill. They're working their way up to the 17th place car of Felipe Fajea to put the Porsche driver down a lap. Flying Lizard car, one of my favorites.
It is very reptilian. And scaly. It might need to see a dermatologist.
It may. There's some serious dry skin going on there.
You don't seem to get as much a drafting advantage in this sim compared to others.
No.
Right up close to them.
You do not, that's for sure. There is, I think, more in certain other simulators that you could probably play at the moment, like Assetto Corsa and Corsa Competizione. Although Assetto Corsa Competizione has some work to do, in my humble opinion. It is, of course, an early access game, so there's that. A little bit of a flash of the lights there from Mike Stopmill to Felipe Fajeas to suggest that we're coming through and we're fighting for the lead.
Deploy the oil slick. I feel like the Raceroom people really are missing out a little bit. They could easily make this into a James Bond simulator.
They'd have to get the rights to some of James Bond's cars.
It's not necessary. Just take what you got and put booby traps in there.
I actually kind of think that there isn't a Bond car that they have the rights to. Just thinking of the brand of cars that Bond traditionally drives.
What about the Jag?
No Jags.
Fired?
There is a Jag instead of
bringing an Aston Martin in.
I haven't heard that they are. The hopes for Aston Martin fans is the ACC game, which is going to have the Aston Martin in it, along with all of the cars that are in Blanchepond GT.
Right.
Dennis Meister losing control of the car there and goes around. He was troubling Cristiano Pinheiro there for a bit. So that's not Meister. That's I guess that's Cristiano Pinheiro. Pardon me. This is again the problem of having cars that are identical.
I think they should all be the exact same shade of purple.
The race is officially over. Mike Stopmill is your winner, but the action continues further down the grid. John Barker trails Joe Racer, who's in 12th place, and Jesse Hampton on the back end of that. Looks like Jesse's lost his rear bumper, and the Jays are fighting over what is 12th position. Andy Blade coming to the line to take home 7th position ahead of Richard DeRoche. He will start on the front row for race 2. DeRoche will take pole. Looks like we lost Travis Wallace somewhere in the closing seconds of closing of the race. He was looking pretty solid for a top 10 finish, but disappeared at some point, unfortunately.
I think he ran out of pork rinds, had to go to the store.
Could be. John Barker putting the pressure on Joe Racer. Take home that 12th place position. And Jesse Hampton in the background there. Looks like everyone else is finished. Lachlan Nichols, your fellow countryman, taking home an 11th place finish there. How do you feel about that, Grant?
Yeah, he's done a good job. Kept out of trouble for the most part. You are missing out on the top 10 because it's a reverse grid. Top 10 next race, I think.
Top 8.
Top 8, is it? Right.
Mike McCracken bringing up the rear in 19th position of the cars that finished. We lost James Butler, Travis Wallace, and John Picha. Of course, of the race. 15 cars finishing on the lead lap as we head to race number 2. Your divisional winners were Stop Mill, Blade, and Josiah Jerome, taking home 15th. Relatively quiet day, although he did qualify a little bit higher than he ran there.
Have we established whether or not Josiah Jerome is a newspaper editor and wants pictures of Spider-Man?
Actually, I do correct myself. Jesse Hampton was your Division 3 winner. He did Josiah Jerome by 1 position in his blue Porsche.
Oh, that's what it is. We can hear you talking over the microphone in the background on the recording of this race.
Yeah, I know. I don't know why that was. The microphone was completely muted. And
well, I would disagree.
No, well, obviously, but it was muted. But yeah, you can hear me anytime I talk while I'm over in the racing simulator seat. So
that's why I thought you were. The first time we went through this, I thought you were stapling things, and you're probably just reefing around on your rig trying to break it because you're horribly destructive.
I would never break my rig. It's the nicest thing my cousin has ever built.
That's probably not inaccurate. It's like saying your wife is technically your ex-girlfriend.
And we're off for race 2. James Butler getting a pretty good start there as he looks to go through and redeem himself a bit. Mike McGracken, a pretty bad start. He's at the back.
Man of the wall.
Contact. Butler has collected Jesse Hampton and some more contact further back. I saw Felipe Fajea taking to the grass to escape it. Andy Blade and Richard DeRoche battling it out at the front. Martin Edmonds is up to 3rd. He's had an excellent start. Sean Kenny up to 4th. He's had an excellent start. And can DeRoche hang on to the lead here? Race 1 winner Mike Stopmills up to 6th place in the Cadillac, ahead of Jorgen Walby. So that's a pretty key person to get around for him at the start of the race. It looks like DeRoche will hold on to it now in the Thrustmaster.
Oddly enough, also his nickname in high school.
What was that, Grant?
Just saying some work for the stewards there, the opening corners.
Speaking of work for the stewards there. Visar Jacoli showing the Albanian hospitality as he slams the door in the face of Mike Stopmill. And then gets the return treatment from Sean Kenny. Time at the front, it is still Richard DeRoche, Andy Blade, and Martin Edmonds. It's an all Canadian podium, everybody.
By the way, Mike has definitely said out loud that if he will pay you $5 if you let him pass.
I would not do any such thing.
Horrible lies.
You'd want the money up front, though, wouldn't you?
Sir, I'm an accountant. I don't pay for things that I can do myself.
Let's talk about Mike Stoffmill. Jeez.
Mike Stoffmill. I doubt that that's the case.
So offended.
I doubt that's the case. I wonder if anyone's changed from the softs to the hards or the hards to the softs. I know there is one person who changed from the softs to the hards. That is Lachlan Nichols, which might be a move that has backfired for him. He looks like he got caught up in the carnage of lap 1 and is back down in 19th position. We're down to 20 cars starting this race after having 22 start race 1. The absent cars are Travis Walls and John Picha. Sean Kenny looking to hold off Visar Jacoli, and I don't think he's going to be able to, and this might work out badly for him because Mike Stoffmill decides to just plow on through as well.
You're gonna get all stuffed up.
Indeed, he's going to stuff it up the inside.
Indeed. And Grande Ricardo is currently 3 laps ahead.
He is not 3 laps ahead. He's just
Well,
on
it says
lap
right
3.
there.
He's on lap 3.
Misleading.
He is a half second ahead of Andy Blade. You've not said anything derogatory about Andy Blade's nationality this entire content.
Well, I mean, what am I going to say? He's Welsh. You won't even understand it.
go. This Sergeant Coley looking for another overtake. He recently overtook Sean Kenny. He's looking to do the same to Martin Edmonds. And he looks like he got the job done. So the soft tires coming to play for this Sergeant Coley here early. We, however, saw them fade pretty badly in race 1. He'll need to avoid that in race 2 if he wants to get a solid result. Mike Stockmill, Sean Kenny, Jorgen Walby all over the back end of Martin Edmonds looking to get through. Walby's got the inside line on Kenny. Kenny doing a good job defending, but he's forced out a little bit wide, but it is going to turn into the inside line on the next corner, and he will retain the position.
Grant, on a scale of 1 to the Emu War, how disappointed are you in Lachlan right now?
Sorry, what was that?
Nothing, never mind.
I heard something about emus and Lachlan.
Yeah, well, we'll just go with that's an association we're just going to keep together now.
Okay.
He wanted to know, on a scale of 1 to Emu War, how disappointed you are in Lachlan right now.
Oh, well, he's trying.
I don't really think he is. I think he's just sitting back there, picking his nose, wiping Vegemite all over his face.
This Sergeant Coley, by the way, has taken second place off of Andy Blade, who made a mistake and is in the danger zone right now. He's got Martin Edmonds, who's probably still smarting over the NSU win that Andy stole from with my assistance, and Mike Stockmill. He's also got Sean Kenny in the mix there. You got Jorgen Walby in the mix there. Pretty much all the fastest guys on the track are right on Andy Blade's butt right now. And Martin Edmonds is going down the inside. Mike Stockmill is trying to copy the move. And they're both through. Sean Kenny's going to want to follow through as soon as possible in a battle of the Ferraris. John Spriggs is in the mix there. Eric Friesen is in the mix there. Jorgen Walby's in the mix there. So Andy Blade, second place not that long ago. He's down to 5th, and it may get worse before it gets better.
Yeah, he was being too much of a gentleman there, I think. Just let them all through.
Jorgen Walby overtaking Sean Kenny for P6. He'll be the next one to take a whack at Andy Blade over here. Like Stockmill up on the back of Martin Edmonds still hasn't found a way around him from that 3rd podium spot. In the meantime, he may have just gone around the outside of him here, though.
Yeah, nice move around the
outside. That is a beautiful move. I don't think Martin saw that coming.
No. I think you're pretty right at that point.
Eric Friesen looking to make a move in the background on John Spriggs. Looks like we've lost somebody to perhaps an accident of some kind. There was another car in this fight who doesn't appear to be there now. Don't quite know who it is. But down to 10th place, and John Barker is... Well, John Barker is with us. Okay, so maybe it was just John Barker. I wasn't realizing what it was.
It was me the whole time.
It was Byron the whole time. He's actually winning the race.
Word.
That's the big secret of this commentary. Like Stockmill is actually Byron.
No. I'm just so far out in front, there's not a number they can put on me.
Suppose we explained the Academy race. We explained the whole idea of the boys' stable there, Byron. Is there anyone who's on the verge of boys' stable status?
No, not really. It's kind of nobody's really done anything horrific to anybody else, so it's just kind of racing as per usual.
It's a very heel stable, isn't it?
Kinda.
Very nation of domination in the mid '90s.
Yeah, that's a pretty fair assessment. Or any of the random factions in faction warfare that was after that.
Not the Los Boricuas, come on.
Totally Los Boricuas. Dude, we got enough Hispanics, we could totally reform the Los Boricuas. We'll call it the Hispanic Panic.
So Sean Kenny's gotten around Andy Blade in his 6th place, but Blade is still valiantly holding off John Spriggs, Eric Friesen, and John Barker. Jorgen Walby also got through, so Andy down to 7th. after starting the race in second. Pole sitter Richard DeRoche still holds the lead, but I don't know for how much longer. He's on the hard tires. Vissar Jacoli's on the soft tires, and Vissar probably has somewhere in the neighborhood of 5 to 6 more minutes of like good tire life out of those softs. I think that's enough time to get him into the lead.
These are all possibilities.
The Thrustmaster car still holds the lead for now. Oh, I spoke too soon.
Navarre.
Vissar Jacoli taking advantage of the caster's curse and moves into the lead. Richard tried to come back at him though. Can't seem to get past him now. I think, you know, I don't think you can really get around him right now, but you can definitely put the pressure on and make him waste those tires a little bit more and make him easier picking sooner than later.
Waste my tires 2019.
In the meantime, Jorgen Walby around Martin Edmonds. Sean Kenny also in company there in the yellow Ferrari. Andy Blade has dropped back in this pack and is holding up Spriggs, Friesen, and Barker still. So, letting the top 6 kind of get away from the pack right now. Further back in the Division 3 battle, it is currently being won by Josiah Jerome, Cristiano Pinheiro, and Mike McGracken. They're respectively in 11th, 14th, and 15th position. Division 2 leader is Andy Blake.
Not for long, because I'm going to run him off the road.
I thought you were out in front.
Yeah, I'm just going to come up around behind a lap.
How far in the grid have you lapped at this point?
Well, I started last Tuesday, so I'm pretty far.
Eric Friesen appears to have made a mistake and is dropping down the order. Josiah Jerome, Lucas Molesky, John Barker, Felipe Fajea. Spots over him so far. And it looks like he's still off because Cristiano Pinheiro is rapidly closing on him as well. Looks like he's moving now. Pinheiro is still catching him, so that's concerning. In the meantime, the battle for fourth continues between Jorgen Walby, who's just gotten around Martin Edmonds, and Sean Kenny. They are battling it out there in a 3-car fight for fourth, while Andy Blade provides them a cushion by holding off John Spriggs, particularly because I think Spriggs is really fast. And John Barker is dropping off the back of this, so it's really becoming a Blade versus Spriggs fight there. 7th position. There's a spring blade jump in there somewhere.
French fried taters.
Or a switchblade. Perhaps Jay White is here.
You'd never be able to figure it out.
I feel like Jay White walks into a room and you know that Jay White's there.
Because you can smell the grease.
Sean Kenny putting the pressure on Martin Edmonds, has not found a way around him as of yet. Andy Blade, more or less staying about 2 seconds behind these guys. He's not losing too much ground. He is losing a bit of ground on the straightaways, though. And Mike Stopmill has gotten around Richard DeRoche into second place, chasing his second victory here at the Sachsenring and second ESR victory.
I feel like he should be graduated to super advanced class in the academy.
I think he's already there.
What?
I think he's probably on that pantheon of Darcy Parkinson, Caleb Gonzalez, Nikos Papamihail, Taha Mali, Mr. C, Vangelos Parginos.
Nope.
Probably not. Just because they're my southern neighbors doesn't mean I have to pronounce their names correctly.
It means you should be able to do it reflexively.
No, we're taught to not pronounce them correctly, therefore to offend them.
They'll all be known as Dave.
We just called them scum. Yeah, I don't know why it's so hard to understand that.
Is there any kind of accent on that? Is it like skume?
We're not really big on the accents like that. I mean, maybe be Scum. Probably the closest thing you can get there with the next.
Is it because you're all just too drunk to pronounce scum?
I mean, we're drunk.
Yay!
I apologize to any fellow Yugoslavians. But we will be taking the piss out of ourselves for the next 15 minutes. John Barker still hanging around, still doing his thing. John Kenny still in the mix as well. Although John Barker made a mistake a little bit ago, and Lucas Bolesky and Josiah Jerome moved past him. Division 3, Josiah Jerome in the top 10. The Academy continues to produce quality drivers.
Better driving through PCB.
Better driving through the Academy.
Hey, look, guys, I'm going to have to leave. Got to pick my son up from school. So,
All right.
School!
all the best. Yeah, school.
We bid Grant Patullo, the platypus, a fine day, and good luck picking up this time.
Enjoy yourself.
All right, catch you later. Bye.
Sean Kenny looking to get down the inside of Martin Edmonds.
User disconnected from your channel.
User disconnected from you.
He did. He's never going to make it. There's too many drop bears. And everything's on fire.
I mean, he might be eaten by a capybara.
Wrong continent.
I thought they had capybaras there as well.
South America only.
Only South America.
Yeah, they got everything else. They got all the snakes known to
Photo
man.
dragons.
Every rodent they have is poisonous and venomous and explosive.
Richard DeRoche losing another spot there to Jordan Walby. Ow! I spoke too soon.
Why would you do that?
Jordan Walby losing control there. Looks like he picked up a little bit of curve here. Still half a race to go here, everybody. So, plenty of time. No need to rush it.
Nope, gotta go fast now.
Martin Edmonds has, I think, lost a lot of pace here because Andy Blade is coming on real strong for that S.
Giggity.
He is about to give you a little ham banana action. I say this, and Andy goes off the track and loses his spot. God damn it, Andy.
Well, he is drunk.
Not supposed to be.
I didn't say it was a recommended course of action. I'm just saying that I think it's probably a legal requirement.
Is that a heritage thing?
Could be.
Mike Stockmill up on the tail of Visar Jacoli, looking for that second win. He'd love to take a clean sweep here today. Richard DeRoche in third, Jordan Walby fourth, Martin Edmonds, Sean Kenny, John Spriggs, Andy Blade, Josiah Jerome, John Barker. That is your top 10.
I don't believe you.
Why do you question me on math and numbers?
Because you're dyslexic as hell.
Not when it comes to numbers, only when it comes to
Fair enough. Only when it comes to reading things in English.
It's not limited English, I assure you. Mike Stockmill all over the back of Visar Jacoli, who's probably lost the tires at this point because, I mean, we saw it last race. They were with him for a good 12 minutes, and then he started really losing pace. Probably at that point now. Sean Kenny. I mean, Martin Edmonds has got a good defensive line here. Sean would have to go around the outside. I just don't think that's on offer.
Two trailer park Porsches go around the outside,
It's
around the
Ferrari,
outside.
not a Porsche.
Same thing.
It's really not. One's
They're all
short, one's
Swiss.
Italian. It's not true at all. And Mike Stockmill's still putting the pressure on, still looking to do some things. Not nearly as solid a showing here from Cadillac as we saw in the first race, where Travis Wallace and Mike Stockmill were pretty much always in the top 10. Lachlan Nichols flirted with the top 10, fell a little short. Lachlan's down in 17th place at the moment. Mike McBracken in 16th. That is the location of the other two Cadillacs in the race. Sean Kenny still putting the pressure on Martin Edmonds. Can't find a way around. Jorgen Walby taking third. That was a good look down the inside there from Sean Kenny, but he still can't find a way around. And it's the problem with the P45. It's not a great overtaking machine. It's got serious aerodynamic requirements and not a lot of grunt. So it means it lacks straight line speed, and it's pretty vulnerable to hitting that air wall that comes out when you come from behind the draft. And it's allowing Martin Edmonds, who I don't think has the pace of Sean Kenny, even with the tire mismatch at this point, because Sean Soft should be going off. But he can't get around him. Just can't find a way around that BMW.
So what you're saying is if you're going to try and pass somebody, you have to be going faster than the speed of air.
No.
Lies.
It's not true. And all the carnage, Lucas Bolewski's worked his way into a top 10 position. So congratulations to the pole from Corvette. Sean Kenny still trying to get around Martin Edmonds. I think we're going to be sticking with this battle for a while longer. Wonder if they're catching up in any way to Richard DeRoche. Keep an eye on that as well. And further back, Eric Friesen on a charge to try to get back into the top 10. He's on the tail of the aforementioned Lucas Bolewski, and just ahead of them is John Barker. Josiah Jerome appears to have made a mistake and fallen back to 13th position. That is how Bolewski made it into the top 10. Martin Edmonds has lost the spot to Sean Kenny. We go away from the fight, and it finally produces a result. The man who is catching up to them there in the BMW is John Spriggs.
I believe the colloquialism is a watched Porsche never passes.
Solid point. In the meantime, in the battle of the front, Vissar Jacoli still leads the way from Mike Stockville. We've had 3 different leaders in this race with Andy Blade and Richard DeRoche. That turns out in front. And now it is the Albanian's turn. Can he get the job done?
No.
Interestingly enough, I consider myself to be a bit of a turbo nerd and able to, generally name a driver from any country when I'm coming up with passwords for servers. I can't think of one from Albania. So Vissar Jacoli might be the Albanian password for any rounds in the future. In the meantime, Cristiano Pinheiro is coming back through the grid along with Dennis Meister. They're up to 14th and 15th. They've had an interesting day. John Spriggs and Sean Kenny losing the back end. Can he hold the position, though? This may be fantastic if he can hang on to it. I think he did.
Nope.
I think he held on to 5th.
No, he's hacking.
I mean, that would explain how he hung on to
Clearly
5th.
hacking.
But it does appear Sean Kenny has held off Martin Edmonds and John Spriggs, although they are within a second of each other from 5th to 7th. There, in fact, is the man in question, Mr. John Spriggs, putting the pressure on. John is a championship contender. He would love to get a little bit higher up in the field. Eric Friesen putting the pressure on John Barker for 9th place as he continues his climb back through the grid. He's overtaking Lucas Malewski for 10th place. Your boy Felipe Fea having a much better race too. He's up to 12th there in the Porsche.
The Lizard, it flies majestically.
He's got a pretty decent lead over Josiah Jerome, who definitely had some trauma that we didn't witness because he was running a relatively competitive top 10 position and has dropped back significantly. Still the Division 3 leader, though. They're at 13th position. So
I would recommend seeing a psychologist to resolve the trauma.
Yes, I would. We haven't mentioned it the whole race. James Butler appears to have dropped out of the race. Joe Racer having a really weak time. 12th in race 1, down in 19th in race 2. not bringing it home. A key contender, Division 2 championship, and of course, your boy and one of my favorites in Division 2, Guillermo Brice, not here today.
Obviously, it is Bastille Day. He cannot be here every day.
There is Les Brisket here today. Joe Racer off the track there as he gets lapped by the fight for 5th place. Although it's not so much a fight for 5th place anymore. Sean Kenny kind of pulling away. It's now Martin Evans versus John Spriggs for 6th place.
I found out that there's like a local farm that also does professional slaughtering and stuff like that. So you can take your beasts to them and they will butcher them up for you. And they had a little contact thing, so I sent them a message like, "Hey, do you guys happen to like carry brisket? What are your prices? That kind of stuff." And the guy took like a day. Granted, I'd sent the message on Sunday, but it took him like almost a full day to get back to me. And he's like, "Yeah, we got it." Like, all right, like, how much? Wouldn't be good to know. And I have not heard back yet.
Well, hopefully you get yourself some nice brisket.
Yeah, well, I just want to know prices, because there's one butcher shop in town that carries them, but they want a good, considerable amount of money, so we will, which is dumb, because brisket's supposed to be, like, the lowest cut of meat and cheap.
Well, that's why you have to cook it so thoroughly.
Yeah, but it seems like in Canada, brisket, butcher shops just seem to think that it's the most expensive cut of meat instead of the cheapest. It doesn't really, the pricing I've seen doesn't make any sense.
It'd be a bit weird in that regard sometimes, that's for sure.
I demand competitive pricing.
This Sergeant Coley getting a little bit angry with Lachlan Nichols here. Nichols' Cadillac is holding them up a little bit. He's out of the way now. Nichols is definitely getting damaged the front end there. You can see it kind of sagging to the left side of the car.
Obviously, it got melted in the great Australian fire of this particular year.
Mike Stockmill running out of time. He's down to 4 minutes left to get around the fading tires of Vissar Jacoli to take a clean sweep here at the Sachsenring. Do you think he can get around him, Byron?
No.
Does it have anything to do with the fact that we did already do this commentary?
No, I've just been saying no to everything.
Sure.
Just because I think it's funny.
Eric Friesen under pressure from Lucas Molesky. Molesky is not going away, doing a fantastic job here in the late race with that Corvette on the hard tires. Although that may end very poorly the way they were getting very close there and not giving each other a lot of room.
Well, maybe they need to play nice and share. Come on, guys.
Possible.
Nudgy, nudgy!
Speaking of not playing nice, Mike Stockmill giving Vissar Jacoli a little bit of a nudge there, but Jacoli retains the lead for now and returns the favor with some Albanian hospitality, slamming the door shut in the face of Mike Stockmill as if he said, "Have you heard the good news of our Lord and Savior?"
Is Albanian hospitality technically just getting stabbed a little bit?
Yes. It's where they don't bring out the big knives.
Whoa. Just use the fork instead.
It's not a fork. It's definitely a knife.
Get it all forked up.
It's kind of like butter knifing.
Spreadable.
Maybe a steak knife as opposed to like a butcher knife. Stockmill still determined to get around here, but it's not happening yet. He's got 2 minutes and about 2 1/4 left. Probably about time for 2 laps. Maybe 3, depending on when they get across the line. This segment of turns that they just went through is so fun. So very fun.
They should just make the whole track like that.
Then it'd just be a gigantic circle.
Well, yeah, but a squiggly circle.
No, because that's like multiple left-handers in a row.
Well, I mean,
You'd just
why don't you just do it?
just be turning left until
What do you?
to the start finish line.
Was this fucking NASCAR?
And then we're just American.
I'm gonna put a brick on the pedal, and I'm gonna duct tape the steering wheel to the door handle, and we're gonna win every NASCAR race known to man.
It's not true, but it's hilarious. Mike Stoppmill briefly got ahead of Miss Articoli there, but it looks like they may have had a little bit of contact, and Stoppmill is falling back. He's got basically 1 to maybe 2 laps to go to get the job done. Can he find his way around? My gut feeling says no on the matter.
Denied.
Further back, Eric Friesen's had another off and has dropped down to 14th position, so his problems continue. John Barker's also had it off, I think, and has dropped to 11th place. Friesen taking Josiah Jerome there for 13th, so he's on the way back up. But, some costly mistakes from the Canadian driver. Got 27 seconds to go, and it depends on when they get across the line. If they're going to get another lap, Stoppmill's got to be hoping for another lap. Don't think he has an overtake possibility here. Giancoli does not have the option to try to play for this to be the end, and they are going to get another lap. So 1 more lap for Mike Stoppmill to try to find his way around. Jorgen Walby in the background in 3rd place. He's really catching up here, but I don't think he's going to be a factor here towards the end. John Spriggs still hasn't found his way around Martin Edmonds. That's kind of amazing. They continue to battle for 5th place. They've been battling for 5th place for what, like 20 minutes of this
6
race?
days.
Might be 6 days.
17.5 parsecs.
Now, I said Walby wouldn't really become a factor, but he's really close now. About a second off of Stoppmill at this point, so all it takes is a little contact, and we might have ourselves a little party for Sweden on the top of the podium.
Get out the ski poles and push.
John Spriggs appears to have either lost the ability or lost the desire to go after Martin Edmonds. Not sure which. Richard Durocher, Andy Blade, Lucas Molesky, and Philippe Vehea having a much better race 2 than race 1. He is up into 10th place, rounding off the top 10.
If we were racing in Asia, would it be the top 10?
Yes.
Excellent.
Come around to the finals here. Can Stoppmill make a move? Can Stoppmill defend against Walby, actually? The answer is no. Your winner is going to be Vissar Giancoli from Mike Stoppmill and Jorgen Walby. Definitely the 3 fastest men on this day. Sean Kinney is going to come home in 4th position ahead of Martin Edmonds and John Spriggs. Most likely Richard Durocher in the mix, 7th place. Probably expected a little bit more from him in the pole. Andy Blade is your top Division 2 man in 8th position, and we watch Eric Friesen battle with Cristiano Pinheiro. He has recently taken 12th position off of Pinheiro, and can Pinheiro get it back in the BMW? There is also this fight going on here between Josiah Jerome and Dennis Meissner over 14th position, the 2 guys who won in the Academy this week, actually. So that fight has a lot of bragging rights on the line. And they're getting physical.
I like it.
And, oh, it looks like Cristiano Pinheiro has run out of gas. He is ground to a halt, and that's going to let up an additional spot for Jerome and Meissner. Jerome got past Meissner, takes 13th place. Great work. Mike McGracken bringing it home in 15th position there for the Cadillac team. 16th for the Porsche of Jesse Hampton. 17th is going to be Lachlan Nichols, who is disgraceful, to be honest. A terrible race for Lachlan Nichols. He finishes this one in 17th. Joe Racer finishes in 18th, and we lost Cristiano Pinheiro and James Butler. Race.
Cristiano, need to put more of the bomba in the car.
Put more of the bomba. Maybe take a couple of words with Vinny Magalhaes.
We're gonna call Uncle Henachi. Gonna straighten you out.
Do you look like a man who could walk away from Vinny Magalhaes?
Vinny Magalhaes. In the immortal words of Renato Larange, never hub another man's rhubarb.
That's all for today. Catch us next time out where we'll be doing, the Paul Ricard round of this very championship.